wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
So even though it's a very popular video of mine, one of the most popular is Don't Try Until You're 35, which I did, God, a decade and a half ago. It's been a while. I was not the one that came up with that observation. That was Rush Limbaugh. He said, no one really takes you seriously until you're, it may have even been 40. It was definitely 35. And that had huge, I wish we knew that. Rush Limbaugh, obviously older than me, he's passed away now. He experienced it in his life. And I wish they told younger generations, like, yeah, no one's going to take you seriously until you're 35, especially with the market flooded with college graduates, even more. I mean, that just has gotten worse and worse and worse. I wish they told us that. So instead of like working hard and busting our ass off, getting college degrees and advanced degrees, we just, did what all the Beckys and Trishas and Edina do, fuck off and have a party. Why take it seriously? And the only reason I echoed that is because in my own personal life, I'll tell you that I've said the story before, but I'll tell it again because I haven't told it every day. If you're an employer today, right? And I was an 18-year-old kid. I didn't have a college degree. I was going to college. I had an internship. I was busting my ass off, right? You would have gotten a way better employee out of me at 18 than you will at 50. Because back then, I was willing to do anything. Like, I'd work hard. I'd do it right. Especially after graduating from college, all the math and everything was fresh in my mind. Now I'm like, what the fuck was that formula again? Oh, look, AI. Oh, look, a calculator online. I could do that. I can have the computer do that. And I've said it before. Baby boomers, you lost out, man. You had an army of Gen Xers and millennials who were going to, you convinced them that their career was the number one thing. All you had to do was take an electrical wire, plug it into us, and we would have made the economy boom. But nope, nope. You had to play corporo, nepotistic, nepo baby, dude, bro, DEI, not meritocracy bullshit. You had to play the Game of Thrones, like, oh my God, this young up-and-coming Mustang is going to outshine me. Or you could just employ him and say, look at I hired this kid. Yeah, look at him. I got a great eye for talent. Instead of incorporating us into the economy, you fucked us over. You played mind games like a fucking, sorority girl on a date. You played your fucking mind games. You played your corporate bullshit. And you had it. You had all the youth and energy in the world. You could have had a U.S. economy. Now, I'm not joking. If you had just taken the youth you had, plugged them in, and gave them a fair handshake, you'd have, I'm going to say, about $55 trillion per year in GDP. Roughly 80% higher than what it is now. No, it was moving goalposts after moving goalposts after moving goalposts. And you didn't have to be a 50-year-old to figure that out. But most of us figured it out by our mid-30s. I figured it out. I was 30. No, I was 32. 31. Young 30s. It took me until the FBI guys raided the banker that was hounding me about his, well, when are you going to get that loan approved? Oh God, of all the bankers, he's like the second most one I want to beat the shit out of. I'd love to beat the crap out of him. Anyway, it didn't take me until I was in my younger 30s to realize it was all bullshit. And then Rush Limbaugh's sage, he was a wise man. I know the baby boomers in the media especially told you he was a bad, bad man and he had a funny mustache. No, the guy was wise. Wise, but him and Tom Leykis, although interestingly enough, they probably politically disagree. there are very much both the pioneers of independent thought in the respective fields back in those days. If you followed their advice, you'd be way ahead now, way ahead. And so I figured out what he was trying to say when I inevitably reached my 30s. But then another funny thing that's been happening, and it's been happening a while. I got it happen again. And it's this time it stands out because there's circumstantial evidence that's corroborating what's happening in my individual life. But for a while, you get a recruiter reaching out to you. That's common. And then as time went on, I get a LinkedIn thing or email. Again, a lot of it could be spam and all that. But I don't get job postings unless it's a vice president or higher. I'm like, okay, one, I have not updated my resume in over a decade. Two, even if I did update my resume, it wouldn't have anything to do with banking. Yet here we are. Three, we have a president of commercial lending. Not vice president. We're putting you in charge of the whole fucking division. I'm like, what? And I don't know if these are real or not. I imagine some are. A couple times I'd look it up, like, what bank? Our client, oh, okay, you're a recruiter. But sometimes it's directly from the bank. I'm like, oh, look at this pitch shit community bank. Look at this nonprofit trying to make it with the real banks of them. Oh, look at the washed up Al Bundy high school football quarterback who's a commercial lender. They want me in the executive team. Now, admittedly, how much of it is real? Small shit, piss community banks. By the way, community banks you never want to work for a community bank. Here's how bad it is. You'd rather work for Wells Fargo or Bank of America than work for your local Piddly Dink Town community bank. If it says community bank, you don't want to work for them. They got like 2 branches in the same town and that's it. You don't want to. Those are the special needs bankers. They're the charity cases. All that being said, oh, hey, you want to. What? Because when I was ready to go, you could put me on a junior executive track. You could have put me in and you could have not fucked me over, could not lied about the job. You could have had me work at your bank for 25 years now. Know the community, know the bank, know the portfolio, know my employer inside and out. And then you would if you gave people a fair shot and paid them a fair wage, you'd have your leaders now. You'd have all these gray-haired silver fox types you want now to head it up. But now you're going on the internet, finding some random guy whose resume is outdated by 10 years. That's how desperate you are? And then it reminded me of the sage Rush Limbaugh. No one takes you seriously until you're 35. Well, let me tell you something now that I'm 50. And all my other friends are 50. What really kind of triggered is a buddy of mine. I got friends, like they joined the military when we were young. Fucking colonels. Some of them are going to start bumping into generals. I'm like, you're a colonel? Like, I thought colonel was like, mustache, curly mustache, grizzled, gray-haired, angry man. Like a serious man, not you. How are you a colonel? That's like real shit. How many people answer to you? You're in command of what? Hell, I met an admiral one time, and he wasn't much older than I am now. I'm like, oh shit, a fucking admiral. I mean, really, it was cool. I got to meet a real fucking admiral. Eighth Strike Carrier Group of the Pacific, some fucking guy that could nuke half the world if you wanted to. And I'm like, wow, hello, sir, how are you? Dude, I might know people who are going to become that guy in about 10 years. And then I start to see people my age, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm vice president. What? Yeah. I'm a consultant over at Bain. What? Yeah, I made partner. A lot of my friends are making partners at accounting firms, law firms, or something like that. Huh? And they're in the same mindset. Like, yeah, I can't believe it either. It's weird. Right? I mean, yeah, okay, you got the full bird and you're a colonel. Yeah, you're partner, senior partner at Wick and Throp, but it doesn't feel like it. And what I've noticed and what they noticed is it wasn't how hard you worked, right? You got to work hard, right? You got to put in your dues. You got to have the right degree. I'm not saying there aren't other variables. But the one thing that leads to major career success is just outlasting everybody else. It's just getting old. Because if there was any meritocracy, right, think about it. The gray-haired needle dicks that caused the financial crisis, they were all 50, 60 plus year old white guys. There were other people, but I'll call it over the plate. No, it was white guys. It was old middle-aged white dudes. They're all corrupt. Nearly all of them. Politicians, they're all corrupt. I think all of you realize age has nothing to do with competency, especially with the baby boomers and now my generation getting up there. If there was meritocracy, you should, in theory, have a 25-year-old hardworking genius heading up the occasional company, right? But that's not it. It's like the public schools. You can't advance through a grade. Why not? I'm super smart. And I'm getting A's and finishing my homework in 5 minutes. Oh, no, your grade is determined by your age. I think that mentality definitely carries over. Because all of a sudden, the best way I could describe getting promoted or making progress in your career is it's a vacuum in leadership. Enough people die, enough people get promoted, enough people retire. And all of a sudden now, fucking Christ, every time I click this on, the bandwidth goes away. I swear to God, fucking baby boomers in charge of the internet. Now all of a sudden, what about when you had me willing to work 80 to 100 hours a week? Now I'm a fraction as capable as I was before. So is every other person who's like long left whatever training and discipline and work ethic they had. And I don't know why it is that way, but I just think that it is your age. I'm thoroughly convinced your age is going to determine your career success. Yes, you can't be pissing on the desk at meetings, right? Okay, you can't do that in order to have success. You have to show up. You have to be. But going above and beyond the call of duty, trying to prove anything to anyone, no. It's just going to be, did you start getting gray hair? Are you a silver fox? And I'm going to say this, it probably applies more to men than women. You could maybe say girls have a slightly different, earlier advantage because you're prettier and all that, or at least in theory you are. Affirmative action, DEI, and all that. But it still would generally hold true for women. You do not get ahead until you start getting that touch of gray. And it's not because you're gray. And I don't even think it's necessarily that you're perceived to be wiser, although I'm sure that factors into it too. I just think people are like, fuck it, I want nothing to do with this anymore. It's not meritocratic. It's not worth it. I'm dropping out. No, I'm not a loser. You guys are the loser. This is not an acceptable offer. I don't know, people get kids or something else. You don't have time. And maybe they peer behind the curtain. Maybe the internet is showing everyone like, nope, you don't want to do that. Now they're like, oh, hey, it's so weird, man. I would send out hundreds of resumes. Damn near a perfect GPA. Graduated 6 months. Like the best resume you could probably ever possibly have. Nope. Wouldn't hear back shit. Would not. I'm very understanding what you young people are going through right now. It may be a little bit worse now than what I had to go through, but not by much. I hear some of you guys sending out like a couple hundreds of resumes. I'm like, I don't know about a couple of hundreds, but definitely 100. And still getting nothing, getting stuff, having oh yeah, we expect an offer in the mail any moment. I'll never hear from them again. And you compare it to now, I'm not kidding. I could probably walk into a bank right now or whatever, some kind of finance, economics adjacent firm like, hey, you got a VP position for me? You got a senior director level position for me? Now, maybe not in the big four will never have me. I'm sure a Target or a Fortune 50 company would never have me. Well, who knows? Maybe they would. Oh, he's got gray hair. Oh, he's been in banking since 1994. Oh, wait. Well, what are you looking for benefits? And so when I do get these emails, I send I give them a Japanese refusal Or I'm like, yeah, you're going to give me $250,000 signing bonus, non-refundable. I get to work from home unless it's absolutely necessary. I come in and it's $500,000 a year in salary. Fuck off. No, I'm not. That's the price. Fuck you. You had your shot. Again, you boomers, you Gen Xers now, you had your shot. You had an army of young people, especially the women, who were more than happy to throw away their husband and their children and the future family away so that they could be the best at whatever it is they went to school for. Yes, I'm aware most of them went to school for bullshit, but you had a motivated workforce and you just fucked them over, man. You did not give them a straight deal. You did not give them an honest try. I mean, most people think maybe we invest in our younger generations. I don't mean sending them off to school. That's not an investment. That's a pissing away money. I don't know. Invest by like giving them good jobs, giving them training, making it easy for them to be employed so that they might be able to afford a house and buy your products. I've never seen a more I've only seen one, but I can't imagine a more hostile, difficult environment to find a job, unless it was like the Great Depression or something, than what you guys do in good times. And now all of a sudden, hey, we got a senior level position. Well, good for you. And it's tragic. It's tragic that I could walk in now, probably get a pretty good, decent paying job. There'd be a hurdle. I ain't sending on hundreds of resumes. I'm not. Whereas if you had a younger me, a younger anybody, that would have been a way better employee, worked a lot harder. You just had to not fuck with them, and you did. And for all of you out there, and this is the thing, people don't know your age, right? They can't know because of age discrimination. So they got to go with gray hair. And so whereas I said, don't try until you're 35, I don't mean become a Democrat, smoke pot, do your Adderall, play video games, and jerk off to Nebraska. I mean, sit on your ass and do nothing. What I mean by don't try until you're 35 is you don't give your employer your all. You go get added skills and trades. You start self-employment. You start a side business, a side hustle. That's where you put your all. You give them the 40 hours a week and you do a fair job of it. But that extra distance, no, that's you, man. You invest in you. Or unless you find that rare employer like, yeah, we're going to pay you for overtime. Yeah, we need you. Yeah, we're going to pay for your training. Then maybe you put your all into that. But you definitely do not try until you're 35. Because about 35, then they start taking you seriously. All right, yeah, we're not going to give you an unpaid internship. Yeah, and a lot of you guys who are 35 are probably saying, yeah, no, they're fucking around with us now too. But the progress where it actually paid, where you start putting in the effort, that doesn't happen until you start getting gray hair. That doesn't happen until you start looking like a mid-40 something person. And it's not that it's like a dial, it's like a throttle. You put it at 0 in terms of extra effort when you're a young person because no one's taking you seriously. You hit about 32, 33, 36, whatever. Oh, hey, we got there. Yeah, okay, maybe you open up the throttle a little bit there. But there is not an instance that I can think of in the United States where you open it up full throttle for one employer until you are at least 45 or you look that way. Because then, for whatever reason, then the positions are open. Hey, we need a director. We need a senior whatever it is. We can't fuck around on this one. Hey, what are you looking for a job? And they're probably actually receiving. They're amenable to it. They're receptive to it. The $250,000 non-refundable signing bonus. That's the deal breaker. That's the Japanese refusal. But if I just said like, yeah, $350,000 in healthcare, and you're going to contribute to it, and I don't pay out of my salary for your healthcare. You're paying for my healthcare in addition to the salary you pay me, or you give me a stipend and I go find my own healthcare because I'm not a fat, overweight fuck. That would sell, but that would never sell back in the day. Never, even if I was a better employee. And so I want to let you guys know that most of your career success is it's like an asymptote, right? It's exponential. It's going to happen at least 40 plus, more like 45 plus. Whenever it is you start getting your gray hair. If you're really serious about it, I'm not joking. I would go look for that touch of gray. I would go see if you can't make yourself. It would be worth, I don't know what hairstyles cost, but to get a little bit of gray in there, absolutely. Put a little bit of gray in your sideburns or whatever. Pepper your, I don't know how they do it. That would be worth $200 a month in hair treatment. It's going to make you a hell of a lot more than $200 a month. And that's the sad thing. You look old enough. Oh, everyone else died or retired. We don't have anyone. Oh, hey, you're a warm body with gray hair. Come on in. And I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but not terribly too much. It is tremendously easier to get success in your 40s and 50s than it is when you're in your teens and your 20s. And so for those of you who are like, 35, 30s, you're in your 30s, let's just say. Yeah, okay, all right, a little bit maybe. But don't be surprised. Well, I did this and I did that. And look at my LinkedIn and no, you know what? You're the only 46-year-old that's around here right now. And all of a sudden, everyone retired or women dropped out of the workforce to whatever, become a teacher. Or there is a leadership vacuum. We need bodies. Hey, is your resume outdated? Come on in. And that's if you're going to put full-time effort, open up the throttle for an employer, that's when you do it, when you're adequately paid. There is no proving yourself. There is no look at what I did and how much I worked and like all these overbloviated LinkedIn profiles and resumes. Nope. Just hold on until you're about 40. Work some very part-time job on the weekends in your industry and field. So you can say, I have 25 years working. You go, oh my God, 25 years. Yeah. I mean, at like 8 hours a week for 20 of them, but I was a plumber the rest of the time. What would you say? Like in Office Space? What would you say for some kind of benefits compensation package? So link below is Bachelor Pad Economics. I go through career advice there. That was quite some time ago, but it still is germane today. And then to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't even bother. Really, I'm not kidding. There's something better than being a corporate executive. It's called being self-employed in a little job that you do and having all the time in the world to yourself. If you want that, I'd recommend go get my book, Zero World Problems. Actually, matter of fact, those two books will probably set you up financially for the rest of your life. You go through Bachelor Pad Economics and Zero World Problems. Read Zero World Problems first. Then you'll be just like, oh, yeah, why? We'll give you $1.5 million. And I got people my age, right? I know a buddy. I got several ones, but one of mine comes particular. He's in sales. And he's got that magic number of years, and he's got that touch of gray, and he's been in the biz. And he was looking for a job. He found one, but there were so many people trying to recruit him. You know where they were coming from? California, New York, all these other places. And he'd be talking to the recruiters like, once they mentioned California, he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not doing California. Absolutely not. But it's really good. Nope, not doing California. We got one over in Connecticut. Nope. No. Well, I know there's high club, but they compensate. No, I'm not going to work in California. Fuck you. Goodbye. He has a different hobby and a passion. And guess what? His current boss lets him work from wherever because he doesn't have to be in an office. Oh my God, I wonder if he's more productive. Let's go to Super Chat. Cyberbully, $5. When you worked in finance, did you do the 90 to 120 hour work weeks that JP Morgan Morningside report working? No, I did that in college. I did full-time school, full-time work. And yeah, sometimes 120 hour work weeks working security on vacation, like summer vacation and all, or not summer vacation, Christmas vacation, winter break, as they call it. I was willing to do that, but I never worked in investment banking. I worked in commercial banking, which is, for slow special needs bankers. And they were so dumb and so slow. Again, I don't think I've ever really worked more than 4 hours a day on average in my entire banking career. They're just not bright. I'm not. I wish I was like yes, I have an immense amount of contempt and hatred for those type of people. But in addition to that, they are dumb, slow people. When you go to a community bank, when you go to the little small bank, when you go to the mom and pop bank or the credit union, heaven help you, and they're like, oh, maybe we could get you for commercial lending. You're dealing with dumb people asking dumb people for loans. And you're just not going to get, there wasn't 90 hours a week to do. It just wasn't. And I got to imagine over at the investment banks that 90 to 120 hours, especially with technology now, computer programming. I don't know what analysis you're doing. I don't know. Do they even require 90 to 120 hour work weeks? I thought that was all going away because they can't. Surprise! The Zoomer said, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. No, I'm not working 100 hours a week. Get fucked. But Wall Street, we're Goldman Sachs. No one cares. No, nah. But bro, Goldman Sachs, nah, that's okay. I'm gonna go fishing instead. But I would have been, yeah, back in the day, yeah, I would have been able to. I would have not only been willing, but I was able to do it. Right, Rider, $2 just watched High Plains Drifter. That's where we are. Where the guy rides into town and just hangs out. Cyberbully, $5. As these recruiters reach out recent, yeah, one came in last week. They're not frequent. I get at least one a year. That's if I even checked into LinkedIn, but sometimes I'll get an email. And I'm kind of like, more modernly, is this a scam? Do you just want my information? But for a long time now, it's been, yeah, vice president or higher. And I'm just like, no. Financial services seems like a decent job market right now. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt, like general entry level. No, you have the index investing, you have robo advisors. So financial planning services out. You don't need them. Everything's a sales job in finance. Corporate finance, where you do that, nope, that's accountants and CPAs, internal. So you got to go suck the corporate dick at a Fortune 500 company to do corporate finance. I cannot emphasize enough not to get a degree in finance. Do not get a degree in finance. My friends in finance have been killing it. Oh, good for them. I don't know where they are. Hopefully, maybe I don't know. Did the boomers and the Gen Xers finally wake the fuck up and say, hey, maybe we ought to use these analysts for something? What subfield in finance are there? Well, it can't be commercial banking and small community banks. That's for certain. And here's another thing, Cyberbully. Are they really killing it? Or now here's explanation B. Would finance dude bros lie about how much money they're making, right? Finance bros never lie about money and how they make it, right? I would trust but verify kind of on that one. All right, there you guys go. That's it. Hopefully there's some career advice for you. At the end of the day, it's self-employment. At the end of the day, that's it. I wouldn't even wait till you're 45. Like, now it's time to try. No, by the time you're 45, you should have some kind of self-employed profession or gig going on. And really, everyone should more or less be wholesale abandoning white-collar work in the white-collar industry unless there's actually a good deal on the table. And that just isn't the case. And all you white-collar people or professions, you guys can outsource it to India and the Philippines and wherever else, and AI. And go ahead, do it. Do it. That's my main concern for the future white-collar professions. I say, yeah, you know what? You're going to outsource it anyway. No, I'm not getting an MBA or an advanced degree. I'm going to go get this skill or a trade. I'm going to open up my own shop. And, oh, wow. Did the Target CEO just resign? So nice. All right. Oh, wait. We get more? No. All right. That's it. See you guys later. Toodles.